One of my earliest memories is of living in my household, having been born in Australia to migrant parents who were born in Greece, and they came out in the 1950s during the immigration drive. They came to Australia with, as my mother and my father used to say, with one suitcase, not knowing the language, having left Greece in the case of my mum at age 19, and not even telling her parents that she was actually coming over until she'd actually got on the boat. So for me, growing up, we moved into Richmond, which was very much a Greek neighbourhood at the time. We had a very large network of friends who were from Greece, and that was the only kind of socialising we did. I was very much a latchkey kid, so I had the key around my neck and would come home of an evening whilst mum and dad were working and let myself in. The only language we spoke was Greek at home. My parents didn't know the language, but they worked in industries where they did need to speak English, and I remember very much from a very, very early age having to deal with any phone calls or deal with any forms that they needed to fill out because my language was a whole lot better. I have a really vivid memory of at age about 5.5, 6, going back to Greece and spending about 6 months there, where I remember still continuing up my English studies but coming back from overseas after that 6 months and going back into primary school. And I remember thinking very hard about what I was going to say to my teacher that particular day. And in my head, what I was going to say was hello, but what came out of my mouth was shut up. And I remember being really embarrassed by that. As the years went on, I felt very much pulled apart, just from a point of view of being a member of a Greek family and yet wanting to be very much Australian. I have memories, especially when I was in high school, of very much leaving home, being the good Greek daughter, with the hair up and the skirt, well below the knee, and getting up around the corner on my way to school and hitching up the skirt and pulling my hair out. The only socialising we did was with the Greek community. So whilst I had friends at school who were not from the same background, who were Aussies or Italians, certainly all of the socialising we did was with the Greek community, and it wasn't until I went to university that I was able to explore relationships with other groups. And as it was, I was so comfortable within that setting that the first group of friends from that university were other kids like myself who were part of the Greek Australian community and had joined a particular club which had been organised for us. It wasn't until much later, after I went to work, that I finally started to make friends and get to know people from a range of different cultures, and as it turned out, married someone from a particularly Aussie kind of background. So for me, the challenges were very much the language barrier, and feeling very frustrated about my parents not being able to understand or not being part of the Australian culture that I really wanted to be part of, but also filling that role of dutiful daughter, being firstborn, and also taking that responsibility fairly seriously and having to deal with any issues. And to this day, whilst my parents speak and read English, they still rely on me to deal with any forms or any difficulties that they have. So from that perspective, it's been an incredible challenge, and one which still impacts me today.